The Romans believed the Parthian archers had to run out of arrows.
Hold the line! Their quivers are nearly empty.
Then the camels appeared. 53 BC. Near Carrhae, 7 Roman legions stood within sight of an enemy they could not reach. Rome built these men to close distance, hold formation, and finish battles with shield, spear, and sword. But what can infantry do when 10,000 horsemen refuse to stand still? To understand why Rome came here, the story must return to 3 men who dominated the Republic. Pompey carried the prestige of victories across the Mediterranean and the East.
Caesar was winning new glory in Gaul, campaign after campaign. Crassus was already among Rome's richest and most powerful men, but he lacked a conquest equal to theirs. In 55 BC, the Lex Trebonia gave Crassus Syria 5 years of command and a path to glory. The expedition was controversial. Rome and Parthia were still nominally at peace, and many opposed the invasion. At the city gate, Ateus cursed the expedition. Rome would later remember political opposition as prophecy. 1 year before Carrhae, Crassus crossed the Euphrates and tested the Parthian frontier. Several cities submitted. Thin local defenses offered little resistance. The campaign seemed to confirm every Roman expectation. Zenodotia resisted. Crassus stormed the city and crushed it.
His soldiers hailed him as Imperator. A small victory made the larger war look easy. Crassus left garrisons in Mesopotamia, then waited in Syria for Publius and 1,000 cavalry from Caesar. But across the Euphrates, Parthia had survived its own dynastic war. Orodes had defeated his brother Mithridates. Surena helped restore Orodes and retake Seleucia. He entered the Roman war with victory already behind him. Rank alone did not make Surena dangerous. He could summon riders, armored lancers, and their supply train. Orodes would move against Armenia. Surena would face Crassus with a force built for open ground. Crassus was preparing to conquer Parthia. Surena was preparing a battlefield Rome could not control.
Crassus now commanded 7 legions, roughly 30,000 heavy infantry, supported by lighter troops and cavalry. Their strength lived in formation. Shields protected the line, while pila and swords finished enemies at close range. Surena brought no comparable infantry. Nearly 9,000 horse archers formed the body of his force. Around 1,000 cataphracts supplied weight, armor, and the threat of a charge. Behind them, camel trains carried replacement arrows, extending every mounted archer's time in battle. In spring 53 BC, Crassus crossed the Euphrates again near Zeugma. From here, 3 routes promised 3 different wars. North through Armenia, hills would restrict cavalry while Artavasdes added troops. Along the Euphrates, water and boats protected one flank. Crassus chose the open plain instead. Before the march, King Artavasdes came south with an offer.
Come through Armenia. My hills will break their cavalry before your legions meet them.
The mountains are a trap. We go east, across the plain. The plain, General, as you command.
Crassus refused. His garrisons and richest targets lay across Mesopotamia. Cassius offered another route. Stay beside the Euphrates.
The river guards one flank. Our boats keep the army supplied.
Crassus listened, then continued inland. The shorter road still appeared faster and strategically sound. His identity remains disputed, but his advice carried the army farther east. He reported that Surena was nearby, outnumbered and withdrawing east. Crassus followed.
The choice was calculated, but its intelligence could not be verified. The army entered the Harran plain, dry, open, and almost empty to the horizon. This was no sea of dunes. Sparse grass and cultivated strips survived near the Balik. Every step raised dust. More importantly, nothing blocked cavalry from watching, circling, or disappearing.
The patrol is gone! The Parthians are coming!
Crassus abandoned his wider line and ordered 12 cohorts onto each face of a hollow square. At the balissus, officers urged rest. Crassus pushed forward. Then a sound like thunder crossed the plain. Crassus's square faced every direction, with 12 cohorts forming each side. Baggage, officers, and support troops filled the center, protected by walls of legionaries. Roman cavalry divided among the corners, ready to reinforce any threatened face. The formation denied an easy flank. It also turned the army into one slow, crowded target. At first, Surena showed only a thin cavalry screen. Heavy armor remained hidden beneath cloaks. Then Parthian drums rolled across the plain, deeper than Roman horns and difficult to place. Cloaks fell away, iron and bronze flashed across armored riders and horses.
Keep the archers moving!
Surena watched the square, measured its depth, and changed the attack before contact. Cataphracts moved forward, lances lowered, offering Rome the collision it expected. Pila rose behind locked scuta. The first ranks lowered their weight into the ground. The armored lines slowed, turned, and withdrew before entering Pilum range. Behind them, horse archers widened into a loose ring around the Roman square. Crassus sent light infantry forward to break the ring and force close combat. They ran beyond the shields, throwing javelins toward riders already turning away. Every rider yielded ground, preserving distance while arrows continued to fall. The light troops retreated into the square, carrying wounded men and fresh panic with them. Now arrows poured in from several directions, striking shields, exposed limbs, and the crowded interior. Many glanced away or buried themselves in wood. Enough found gaps to keep casualties rising. When shields closed tightly, cataphracts advanced and threatened anyone trying to spread out. When legionaries rushed outward, the archers retreated beyond Pila and returned from another direction.
Close the eastern face.
Every Roman answer created a different Parthian advantage. A damaged cohort opened its spacing. Armored lancers immediately gathered opposite the gap. The legionaries closed ranks again, choosing the arrows over an approaching charge. Cataphracts needed few attacks. Their presence kept thousands exactly where Surena wanted them. Minutes became hours. Shields grew heavier as broken shafts accumulated across the Roman line. Roman officers watched Parthian quivers empty, expecting the circle to weaken. If the arrows ended, Surena must withdraw or risk the close battle Rome still wanted. Instead, camel trains moved behind the cavalry ring, carrying sealed bundles of replacement arrows. Archers withdrew, reloaded, and returned. The Roman plan had no end.
The arrows would not end. Waiting now meant surrendering every remaining choice. Publius held Rome's most mobile force and the only chance to break Surena's rhythm.
Break the ring! Force them into reach!
I understand.
He took 1,300 cavalry, 500 archers, and 8 infantry cohorts. 1,000 riders were Gauls. Publius drove straight at the nearest horse archers, with infantry and bowmen racing behind. For the first time, Parthian riders yielded ground, while Rome advanced without resistance. Gallic horses gained on them. The distance that had protected Parthia began collapsing. Behind Publius, the Roman square erupted. Surena's circle finally seemed broken. Every visible sign suggested retreat.
Keep the pressure! Do not let them reform!
At first, Publius could still see Roman standards above the dust behind him, Then thousands of hooves raised a moving wall between the two Roman forces. Cavalry pulled ahead. The supporting cohorts stretched into a column, struggling to match the cavalry's pace. Standards vanished first. Then horns dissolved beneath hoofbeats, drums, and wind.
Where are the standards?
The retreat ended without warning. Parthian riders wheeled, knocked arrows, and faced their pursuers. Fresh horse archers emerged through the dust on both flanks, closing the empty ground. Publius had broken one circle. Surena now built a smaller one around him. Cataphracts moved across the route west, placing armored lances between Publius and the Roman square. The pursuit had reversed. Surena had chosen when the retreat would end. The Gauls wore less armor and carried shorter spears, but they still held the advantage of speed. They charged before the arrow ring tightened, striking the cataphracts at close range. Some seized Parthian lances, others ducked beneath armored horses, attacking where protection thinned. Longer lances, protected horses, and heavier armor turned courage into an unequal collision.
The survivors withdrew onto a low rise, gathering horses, shields, and wounded men into one shrinking position. Infantry locked shields while riderless horses broke through the ranks. The arrows continued. Publius fell there with most of his force. The exact manner of his death remains uncertain. Crassus still believed the shrinking dust meant Publius was driving the enemy away. Then a wounded messenger reached the square. Publius's force had been surrounded. Parthian shouts carried the news before their returning riders reached the square. Publius was dead.
Hold the line! Hold!
Grief could wait.
Line!
Horse archers pressed both sides, while cataphracts threatened every weakening face. Darkness ended the battle. It did not end the disaster.
Stand up, brother, we must go!
This reconstruction shows why night offered escape, but no union. Publius's force had vanished east. The surviving Roman columns now faced Carrhae alone. Carrhae offered shelter. Higher ground near Seneca reduced the cavalry advantage that destroyed Rome on the plain.
No trumpets. Keep each cohort together. Octavius and Cassius organized the retreat. Crassus struggled to command.
The survivors moved without trumpets, carrying wounded comrades between broken standards.
Keep moving!
Silence
Do not
failed
stop!
as injured men collapsed,
Fall back!
called for help,
Form the
and
lines!
pulled formations
Get up!
apart. By dawn, separated Roman groups filled the plain. Parthian cavalry reached many before Carrhae. Only part of the army reached
They're
Carrhae,
not coming!
exhausted and missing
this many?
entire units. Cassius escaped towards Syria with roughly 500 cavalry. Crassus judged the city indefensible. The remaining army left again for the northern highlands. Their guide, Andromachus, led Crassus through wet ground, ditches, and exhausting detours. Octavius had already brought roughly 5,000 men onto higher ground near Seneca.
Octavius!
From safety,
They are
Octavius saw Crassus
Crassus is
below
there.
and led
Follow
his
me.
men back
Now.
down. Surena refused a prolonged uphill fight. Instead, he offered terms.
Meet him, or we face the cavalry again. Then we meet him.
The meeting began as negotiation, but neither side controlled the armed men surrounding it. A struggle formed around a horse. Crassus died inside the confusion. The killer remains uncertain. Ancient accounts place losses near 20,000 dead and 10,000 captured. Rome also lost its legionary eagles. Cassius returned to defend Syria. Orodes later ordered Surena's execution.
Rome and Parthia continued contesting the frontier. 33 years later, Augustus recovered the Eagles through diplomacy, not war. Carrhae did not prove that Roman infantry was weak. It proved that strength means little when the enemy controls ground, distance, and the moment of contact.